gals. Welcome to my video, my channel, wherever you found me. I wanted to talk about one of the biggest subjects in the post-op surgery world, and you also might be wondering who I am, what qualifies me to talk on this topic. I am someone who is very experienced with surgery. I've had lots of them. I have lots of experience with pre-op, prep, labs, approvals, medical insurance, all the way through to the procedure itself and post-op, which includes anesthesia, incisions, scarring, swelling, scar tissue, lots of experience in that. Recovery, things you should do, things you should not do. And, you know, my experience is vast in medical insurance and medical, medication interactions, and God, the list goes on and on. But I am most recently a post-op doll as well, which I'm assuming you are, if that's why you're here. And we need to talk about something today that I had a ton of questions on. I'm sure you have a ton of questions on. Lots of dolls always have a ton of questions on, especially if it's your first time. And also something that you should know about me is that I will always provide all of the information that you need along with my content. So if I'm posting a photo or a video, then always in my caption is details on where you can get, if it's a garment that I'm wearing in a photo, where you can get it, what style it is, what type it is, my stats, what my stats were before, what they were after, what they currently are now, etc. So if you ask a question in whatever platform you're watching this in and I don't answer that question right away or at all, it's because the answer is already there. So please take a look around and let's jump right in. Right, now that we have that out of the way, what is a faja and why do we need one? So first of all, a faja is a compression garment that is needed after surgery. If you're not sure what surgery, then you are not going to need a faja. 100%. I have one here that I will use as an example. This is the back. This is the bottom. And this is the front. I can't advise on this brand. I did not have a good experience with them. I'm just using them to show you that this is what most surgical garments look like. This is what most colors are. They have straps at the shoulders. They go over the full body, and the straps are usually adjustable and have clips, and the back butt area is very stretchy, little to no compression, and the thighs have little silicone strips so that they don't ride up, slip, whatever. As you can see, this garment is super big in the hips and butt area and very tiny in the waist. And that is why, part of the reason why we need one. So a faja is a compression garment that is needed for after surgery, which obviously will do the job of compressing your body, mostly your midsection, and provides the proper level of tightness so that you stop swelling. So why do we need one? So if you're getting lipo or a BBL, which again, why are you here if you don't know what that means? But BBL stands for Brazilian butt lift, and it encompasses lipo 360, which means all the way around, plus fat transfer to the butt and hips. So a BBL is not lipo 360 plus BBL. A BBL is not BBL plus fat transfer. A BBL is lipo 360 plus fat transfer. Lipo alone, not including the fat transfer, is not a BBL. And you can't have the fat transfer without the lipo. So most places these days, I can only advise on my experience, and my experience was with Mia Aesthetics in Miami, Florida. And I know that there are a ton of doctors these days in lots of different cities and countries, and I need to put a disclaimer out there that the information that I am giving you ladies is based off of my experience where I had surgery and with my doctor, but the general information that I'm going to provide to you is just that, pretty general, and able to be used for pretty much anyone's post-op care. The reason that we need one is because once you've had lipo of, let's just say the midsection for now, you will have a ton of swelling, and you'll be left with a lot of extra space between that top layer of skin and the rest of your body where this fat used to be, all right in here. And once that fat is sucked out, you have empty space, and your skin really doesn't know what to do with itself. So it's, your body is trying to repair that trauma because that surgery is very traumatic, and the body's natural response is that fluid rushes to that area, and we are consistently swollen for a very, very long amount of time. And I can tell you from my experience, I'm 6 months post-op now. I've had swelling up through, definitely straight through 2 to 3 months post-op, and I would experience random sporadic swelling months 3 through 6. I'm probably still experiencing some swelling every now and then, but the better compression garment that you have, and the longer and more consistent that you wear it, you can eliminate that swelling. And not only can you eliminate that swelling, but you will have better chances of really nicely shaping that waist and losing inches, right? Isn't the point of lipo so that we lose inches on our waist? So that's what the garment is and why we need one. So another really popular question is, can we use a corset or a waist trainer instead of a faja? And I know that one of the biggest concerns after a surgery like this is that you don't want to lose all of that precious, newly transferred fat to those hips or that butt. And there's mixed reviews on this, and I think I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with, depending on what result you want and depending on how you'd like your recovery to go, and that's a very personal decision, you can decide to use a corset or a waist trainer instead of a faja. However, I will tell you that in my experience, I was not getting this procedure to look a little bit different. I was getting this procedure to look drastically different, and I wanted the best results that I could possibly get. Now, I will tell you that the fat transfer for me personally was a plus, and my main concern was really slimming down this area right here. And I learned very quickly that the better quality garment that you have, the more consistently you wear it, And the longer amount of time after your surgery that you continue to wear that garment, the better your results are going to be. And I can tell you right now, at 6 months post-op, my results really didn't start getting amazing until 3 months post-op. No lie. And I'm sure if you've been following me for a while, you've seen photos that back that up. And they're just getting better and better. And I'm convinced it's because of 3 things. The fact that I drink a ton of water every day. The fact that I keep a low sodium diet every day. And the fact that I have a really good garment that I wear consistently every day. And of course the schedule on that changes, but we're not on that topic right now. So can you use a corset or a waist trainer instead or in its place? Sure. But I'm going to show you, I'm actually wearing a waist trainer right now. And again, I am 6 months post-op. I did not wear one of these until close to 6 months post-op. And I would never expect the results that I achieved by simply wearing one of these. And I'll show you why. First of all, these gotta go. This waist trainer comes just right to my belly button is here. So this area right here is gonna be the area that I wanna compress the most. A corset or a waist trainer, I can tell you after having the experience that I do, a faja is not movable like this because it comes down around the legs. It is not able to be stretched like this. Yes, this is sort of compressing my midsection, but you can see that my lower belly sort of still pops out right there. Now with my faja, that lower belly compression is tight, without compressing the butt and the hips. So I personally did not want to try a corset or a waist trainer. And I will be honest with you, I bought several of them from Amazon. I tried every way imaginable to get out of the faja. I tried everything. I could show you my orders on Amazon right now of all the items that I tried to get in place of a garment, and none of them yielded the results that the faja does, period. And one of the biggest reasons is that because in the beginning, right after surgery, you can even see, this is my loose skin as a result of the lipo, but you can even see now that when I was post-op, this was at least 5 times bigger than it is now. And that was all swelling. And if you're wearing just something that starts here and stops here, then you're pushing all of that fluid above and below the corset or the waist trainer. And you have the potential to mold your post-op body permanently like this. And of course it's not gonna, you're gonna take this off and it's not gonna stay, puffed out like that. But without proper compression and with a ton of fluid in one area, the body is going to hold on to that and it's going to remember that shape, and you're not going to get as tight and as dry as you possibly could. And this might not make sense to, hopefully this makes sense to somebody who's a pre-op doll, because that's the point of my video right now. But I can tell you from my experience, I tried the binder, I tried the ace bandage, and I tried all of that stuff on top of each other just to avoid wearing a garment around my legs and my shoulders, and nothing compares. Nothing compares. So next question, how long do I need to wear one? Well, Jury's still out on that too, but I can tell you that I've been wearing mine consistently for the last 6 months, and my results are pretty banging. And I, like I said, didn't really start drying up and seeing really, and by drying up I mean less and less swelling, really noticing ab cuts under my skin. I didn't really start drying up until month 3 post-op. So if the general consensus around the surgery community is that you have to wear it for a few weeks, at a few weeks post-op, my waist measured 31, 32, 33 inches. Ladies, I'm now at a 26, 27 inch waist. And that all happened between weeks 8 to weeks like 14, 17. That's a long time post-op. You've got to be really committed. You've got to be ready to do what you got to do. And if you're anything like me, you really don't like wasting money. And the last thing I wanted to do was go through all of this, traveling for surgery, buying all the things that I needed for prep, going through the pain and the aggravation of the actual procedure itself, and then giving up on the fact that I could potentially continue to sculpt my waist and lose inches down the line. So again, back to the question, how long do I need to wear one? I personally, 6, 9, 12 months. I'm at 6 now, and I will definitely continue to wear my compression garment through 9 months. That's for sure. I still see some evidence of swelling every now and then, and I can tell you that it's definitely needed. And I can also tell you from experience that wearing it only when you think you need it is pointless. Wearing it before you think you need it is what does the trick. And that's why it's so critical to wear it 24/7 every single day for the first 3 months, no matter what. So short answer, every single day for 3 months, 24/7. After 3 months, I started tapering down and would wear it for 12 to 16 hours a day instead of 24. And then the following 4th and 5th month, I would wear it maybe for just 12 hours a day while I was sleeping. And I would go about my business throughout the day. But I did notice that during the hours that I was not wearing it, some women say that they see their bodies, or some dolls, I should say, I'm trying to be a little bit more inclusive here. Some dolls say that they do see their bodies swell up right away as soon as they take the garment off. I did not experience that personally. I did not experience that at all. But I will say that gradually throughout the day, I did notice I was a little bit puffier than I was when I took it off. And I didn't like that. I didn't want to risk potentially keeping that, as a permanent result. So you'll get into a groove. You'll wear it as long as you think you should. And that's that. But if you can take it from me, someone who's had the experience, I say keep it on, doll. Keep it on. So our next question is, what's the difference between a stage 1 and a stage 2? Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I have a highlight dedicated to faja and compression. And I have incredibly comprehensive details on the differences between stages of garments. And so stage 1 is a little bit more like bathing suit material. It's not as tight. It's definitely looser. It's really meant as like an immediate garment to be worn post-trauma. So your body is coming right out of surgery, and it's going to need a couple of weeks, 1 to 3 weeks, depending on how fast your healing process is, how quickly you heal, how repairing, your cells in your body are, and how quickly you move through that phase. But you'll know when you're ready to get into tighter compression. So stage 2 is more quality material. Definitely much tighter on the body, and a little bit uncomfortable at first. Might even feel painful because you're not used to the materials, the level of compression, or just the general feel of it on your body. But after a few hours, after maybe a day or two, it's actually relief. And it goes from being painful and uncomfortable to, oh my God, I see the need for this. I have to have this on. That was my experience anyway. So another popular question is, where should I get my stage 1 garment? I will never understand how people buy their stage 1 garment before surgery takes place. There is absolutely no way on God's green earth that I would have been able to anticipate what size I was going to be after my surgery. Not here, and definitely not here. So if you find a vendor who insists that they are able to predict what size you're going to be after your surgeon finishes the procedure, I mean, I'm not sure about that. I've, in more cases than none, seen women have not so great of an experience with purchasing their stage 1 before the procedure is finished. So I personally purchased my stage 1 garment at the surgical facility where I had the procedure done. And that way the doctor was able to fit me properly while I was on the table and put the garment on for me. And that meant that I did not leave the surgery center in something that was going to compromise this area or not give me enough compression here. So I suggest getting it at the surgical facility. When do I start using my foams and boards? So this is, I think, also a doctor to doctor question, case by case. From what I've seen and what my experience is, the most part, the general consensus is that you start using your foams and boards when you get clearance from your doctor at your first post-op appointment. So if they don't touch on this when you see your doctor after the procedure, make sure that you ask, what are foams and boards? So lipo foams are 8.5 by 11, like the size of a sheet of printer paper, sized sheets of exactly what it sounds like, foam. They're like a makeup sponge type material, and they are just flat sheets that you put inside the garment against your skin so that your skin helps they help your skin repair itself and nerves regenerate, and the foams help eliminate burning sensations and overall pain in the areas that were lipoed. Boards are similar, but don't serve the same purpose. They also go inside the garment. They're around the same size generally, but an ab board is something that is a little bit more of a firmer consistency. It's a board, just like it sounds like. It's not plastic or wood like I thought it would be. It's not metal. I have seen some plastic ones, but usually those have like a very thin layer of foam on top of them so that they're not completely hard against the skin. And all of them, no matter what, have some sort of outer layer of material over them so that it is comfortable against your skin. However, the board's purpose is to flatten out the belly and the back and to add an extra layer of strength, firmness, and not necessarily compression for the board, but just like a reinforcement of how you want to mold that area of your body. So foams and boards are critical. If you're going to wear a faja and not wear foams and boards for the recommended amount of time, you might as well not wear the faja. Truly, like point blank. Also, something you should know about me is that I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to be super straight up and I'm going to be very direct about it. That might not come across the best way in texting, but, and I'm saying that because I am super open about my process. I welcome DMs, messages, questions. I love to, super open about my process as I cut off half my face, whatever. I love to offer my experience where I can. And for those that have been following me, you know that I go into great detail, but I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. And what you need to hear is that you might as well just throw the entire surgery out the window if you're not going to follow through with it. Like, here's another little piece of info. The surgeon only does a percentage of the work. What you do after the surgery is probably going to do 60 to 80% of the work and give you like 60 to 80% of the results that you could possibly get. Your surgeon does only a small percentage of the work. They're setting the foundation for you to care for yourself and your investment afterward. And I stand behind one of the best garments on the market and always using foams and boards where appropriate. So super critical for me to have an ab board in my stage 2 garment at all times. So in your stage 1, you'll wear 2 foams on the side, 1 foam in the front, a backboard in the back, and then an ab board on top of that front foam. And I have a video on my page of how you should do this, how you go about actually putting them in. In your stage 2, now your body has regenerated a little bit, the nerves and the skin is a little bit more comfortable with itself. You can get away with not using those side foams if you are comfortable doing so. I always, no matter what, in my stage 2 though, wear a something on the back and an ab board. I think it is absolutely pointless for me to walk around in my stage 2 faja that has such bendable, flexible material here in this area. And yes, while it's compressing, it's still going to be flexible enough. It's a garment. You're wearing it on your body. It's still going to be flexible enough so that you can sit down, move around. I want to make sure that that lower belly pooch area gets as much compression as possible. So anytime, no matter the day, where I'm going, how long I'm wearing it, anytime I'm in my stage 2 garment, I have that ab board on. And you can check my modifications highlight on my IG page for details on how I modified the foam in the back to be the shape of a backboard so that it was a little bit more comfortable for me. I used a foam in the back instead of a backboard, but it serves the same purpose, to reduce swelling and to get rid of the kind of prevent the creasing lines from the garment on your back. So the next question, do I sleep in it? Yep. I said this in my first video too. Do you want me to expand on that? Like, yeah, you sleep in it. And that's that. Sorry. Do I sleep in my foams and boards? In the beginning, I would do what my body needed. In the beginning, I only slept in my foams. I did not sleep in my board. And by beginning, I mean like first week or so. And then when it was comfortable enough, when I stopped swelling as much by continuing to get massages, making sure that I was prepping on getting the next stage garment that I needed, when it was comfortable enough for me to sleep in the board, then I did. When should I measure for my stage 2? So this is going to vary on you personally, but for the most part, the surgery community has pretty much agreed that the timeline for measuring for your stage 2 garment is between 7 to 14 days post-op. Make sure you have a measuring tape. Link in my bio for a 3 or 4 pack or something for like, they end up being $1 a piece on Prime. Everything in the link tree in my Instagram bio is linked straight to Amazon, and you could just add it right to your cart. And that's how I purchased all my post-op supplies. I had everything shipped straight from Amazon, and it was literally the easiest process ever. So I'm going to call this stage 1.5. So right around days 7 to 14 post-op, you're ready to measure for your stage 2. You're ready to get out of your stage 1. Great, you're doing all the things. Awesome, so exciting. Except your stage 2 is going to take like 1 to 3 weeks to deliver. What do you do in those potentially 3 weeks? So I ordered a garment on Amazon, which was like less than $40 and would tide me over until I received my quality custom stage 2 garment. And you are never going to find anything on Amazon that is custom measured to your hips and your waist ratio. Anything that you find on Amazon, or anything that comes with a tag that has a standard size on it, small, extra small, medium, large, XL, 3XL, whatever it is, anything that has a tag on it that has that size is never, ever, 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 debate me on this, ever going to compress you in the waist and not affect your hips and butt, or it is never going to fit you here in the hips and butt and also compress your waist. Think about this for a second. The entire reason we get a BBL to begin with is because we want a smaller waist and larger hips. Standard sizing gets thrown out the window at that point. The minute you start thinking about getting a BBL, you can give up ever getting a standard size one piece anything ever again. You're going to most likely, I mean, depending on how large or how, great the difference is between your hips and your waist, standard sizing only encompasses so much. It only encompasses a certain, distance of measurements. And by distance, I mean, if you Google waist to hip ratio, you can figure out what yours currently is or what you would like yours to be. And you're just not going to find that in a standard size garment. So my suggestion to you is, and this is the reason why, my suggestion is buying a garment on Amazon, which I'm going to call a stage 1.5, in measuring by your hips. Now you want to save this. And the reason that I say measure by your hips and your butt is that when you are straight out of surgery, and by straight out of surgery, I mean first 3 to 4 weeks, you're pretty much the same measurement that you were when you went on the table. Sorry, you may have lost a few inches, but that ratio is pretty similar, especially with all the swelling in that waist. You're certainly not at this, that's for sure. You're definitely not at this ratio when you come out of surgery. I was not at this ratio when I came out of surgery. My waist was probably more like out to here when I came out of surgery. And that was closer in line to what I went in with than it is now. So the reason that a standard garment is going to work for that time in between the stage 1 and the stage 2 is because you're still swollen. You may have lost some inches there in the waist, but you've gained them back in swelling. And you need that standard size garment to kind of like start coaxing that fluid out of you, start compressing that midsection, and then in a couple of weeks, it really only serves its purpose for a few weeks, you'll receive that custom made to measure stage 2 garment, And we could have an entire another video on the actual company that you choose to purchase your stage 2 from. But I will say, if it's a really quality garment like the one that I have, this is my stage 2 that I really love. If it's a really quality garment, you'll never have to get it tailored. I never ever, what is that? Oh no. You'll never ever have to get this waist tailored until you're ready for stage 3. And we'll get to stage 3 in a second, but I never once had my stage 2 tailored. You really only hear about tailoring stage 2 garments if you get them from a standard size vendor. And why are you gonna spend $20 on tailoring it 4, 5, possibly 6 times, depending on how well they do it, how quickly your inches shrink? You're already up to $100 there. Like, just spend the money on the garment to be custom made. I just don't understand that. I never will. You can go whatever route you choose, but like, just think about that for a second. Like, you're gonna spend just as much as you spent on the garment itself trying to save money not getting custom just to customize it. Like, what? So I think I've answered a question that I had further down the line already, and meanwhile the question I was supposed to be answering was, what is a stage 1.5? But basically stage 1.5 is that little time period between your stage 1 and your stage 2 when you're waiting for your custom garments being made. So another popular question is, my backboard keeps slipping. How do I prevent this? And so I kind of touched on that a little bit already. I took one of my lipofoams that you'd use for the side. Again, a link tree in my bio for a 5-pack. You will be draining a lot of fluids. You will most likely need to wash those foams at some point, and having a pack of 5 really, really helps, because when you hand wash the foams, if you think about it, a makeup sponge expands to twice its size and takes several days to dry, and just that tiny little makeup sponge takes more than a few days to dry. You can imagine that a sheet of lipofoam that is 8.5 by 11 it took 2 full days. Anytime I wash my foams, it takes 2 full days to air dry. And so you're going to need, if you're wearing a garment 24/7, you're going to need other foams to be wearing while that 1 or 2 are drying. 5-pack saved my life. Highly recommend. And the 5-pack of foams that is on the link tree in my Instagram bio is on sale for the same price, like $30. And most people in the surgery community, I'm seeing 3 sheets of foams for $30. So why not get 5 for $30? That's another one of those, like, I just don't understand the logic behind that. So you're going to spend $30 on 3 thinking, oh, I don't need the 5. You're already spending the $30, just get the 5. So next question, can I wear a bra with it or under it? So I personally chose not to wear anything underneath my faja. Mine, because I have all padding here, and I am most definitely the president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, found that even in custom garments, the bras were not feasible for me. There was just too much material in the bra area, but some of them can come built in with bras, and those usually have straps like this, and I'll get to this color in a second. Don't get excited, don't get excited. You've probably seen it around though. The straps are like this when it comes built in with a bra. This particular company is Tributo, and they stand for giving tribute to the woman's body. Tributo. Tributo. I need to learn Spanish. I really do. I say that every single time that I pronounce this company's name, and I'm so embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. Really, trust me. But in this style, and I'm sorry about this cord. This is the life we live. But in this style, I don't think these come able to get the bra built in. I think it's in thicker strap garments. So I got my garments all without a bra just because I like to put my significantly padded bra over the top of it. Now, I think that's also a personal preference, but here's the thinking behind not wearing a bra underneath your faja. If you're getting lipo of the bra strap area, which I did, just adjust myself here. You're getting lipo of this whole area here. Now, this is a great example of why I did not wear just a waist trainer prior to 6 months post-op. Like, come on, no, I'm compressing this. The reason behind not wearing a bra underneath the faja is because that you have these, I don't know, you just don't want any markings on that newly lipoed area, and it has the potential to affect the smoothness of the compression. However, I can tell you now, 6 months later, that Tributo's garments all come with rods, boning in their garments. And the boning in the garment just means that it is holding the garment in place so that when you bend at the waist, that garment doesn't crease. And on the inside, you'll see that obviously that leaves marks on the skin. So I think wearing a bra underneath is a personal preference. These did not leave, I'm going to say this again. They did not leave permanent marks in my lipo areas. So that leads me to believe that not wearing a bra under my stage 2 garment was kind of a waste, because if those rods didn't leave permanent indentations on my body, then a bra most definitely is not going to. So it's up to you. When can I stop wearing my faja? Now, I kind of touched on this a little earlier in the video. I'm 6 months post-op and I'm still wearing my garment 8 to 12 hours a day, and I slowly taper down. I think it's you wear it as long as you want to continue seeing results. And I don't, from what I've researched and from the experiences that I have exposed myself to, I do not see any evidence of a garment creating results after 1 year post-op. However, I do see tons of evidence of a garment helping to create results up to 1 year post-op. So I am going to continue to wear my garment as long as I see results coming from that garment. So also a really hot topic. Where can I get a good stage 2? Where do I purchase? And what do you think of third-party vendors? Now, let me just compose myself for this one. Third-party vendors are getting the garment and then offering for you to tailor a standard size garment so that it's custom made. Now, my issue with that, with a third-party vendor, is that they are not the manufacturer. I personally am not going to buy an Apple iPhone from Samsung. I'm not going to buy an Apple iPhone from a cart on the street. I am not going to buy an Apple iPhone from a website online based in Miami. I'm just not, because I'm going to get it straight from Apple. And I'm going to be guaranteed that I get the product that I want, the consistency that I'm looking for, the quality that is behind that name, and the guarantee that that company that sold it to me will resolve any issues, and most importantly, can answer questions about the manufacturing of that garment. So that's my take on third-party vendors. And you have to wonder what you're actually paying for when you use one of those. If it's convenience, if you are looking for somebody to consult with and liaise with about a product, I can understand why people go to third-party vendors. However, I am a brand ambassador for the garment company that I found and loved after trying several others. Again, Tributo. www.fajastributo.com, and that's FAJAS TRIBUTO.com. So I'm happy to answer any questions about Tributo, but I can understand if you're looking for convenience and basically somebody to do the work for you, but you also have to kind of wonder what you're going to be getting as an end result and like what frustrations you might deal with down the line. So where can you get your stage 2? I would recommend getting it straight from the manufacturer of the garment itself, and also getting custom so that you don't have to get anything tailored and that you're not paying for, you know, that labor or that waiting on that time, like when you can just quickly get it straight from the source. And before I go, I just kind of, again, really want to quickly touch on like using a seamstress or getting it taken in. If you get a custom garment and you get one that's really good quality, I personally never ever had to have it tailored before I was ready for my stage 3. And by then, it's a completely different garment that serves a completely different purpose. And I didn't want to spend, let's just say, $100 on the garment itself and then get it tailored 5 or 6 times at $15 to $20 a pop. That's $100 right there. So on all the times you could have gotten it tailored, you spent $200 potentially, when you could have just gotten a custom garment for $150 or $180 and never had to get it tailored. That's how I think about things. That's how I invest my money. That's the thought process that I go through when I buy anything, and that's across, you know, the rest of my whole life. That's not just for, you know, buying a garment after surgery, but you know, hopefully I, you know, shed some light on the subject for you. What is a stage 3 and how do I know that I'm ready? So basically the garments are, if you haven't figured it out yet, just split into different stages based on where you are in your recovery process post-op. And post-op obviously means post the operation, after the procedure. So a stage 3 garment is typically much, much tighter than a stage 2. It's going to have a much higher level of compression. And I'm going to say this very loudly and very clearly. Your body is not ready for a stage 3 until it's ready. And across the board, most bodies are not ready for a stage 3 until between 3 and 6 months post-op. I have maybe once or twice seen somebody order a stage 3 garment when they were prior to 12 weeks, and I've felt their pain because it is a very painful garment to be wearing before all of that healing has taken place. And so particularly in my stage 3, it looks kind of similar to the stage 2. It's got the same idea. It's got the butt, it's got the hips, it's got the smaller waist, it's got the shoulder straps, it's got the crotch flap, blah, blah, blah. It comes with a stage 2, except a stage 3 is most likely going to have a waist trainer built in. You know, depending on the company that you order it from, this means different things to different companies. Now I can only speak for Tributo. Their stage 3 garments come with latex inside. So where my stage 2 did not have a layer of latex on the inside of the garment, the stage 3 does. Tributo calls their stages different things. And so their stage 1 is medium compression, their stage 2 is high compression, and their stage 3 is extra high compression. And so this garment is an extra high compression garment. And you can see in the back here that it has a layer of latex on the inside. Do you see that line right there? I'm going to see if I can put it up against my arm. See right there? So this layer of material and this outer layer of material are one. Actually, there you go. You can see it. You can see where the latex starts. Right there. And so that adds a completely higher level of compression when it is, let's see if I can even show you like this. Yeah, see, it's right there. Okay, I'm not going to spend any more time trying to show you this. But you can see, there you go. Comes up right above the back of the bra. And it just is a really, really hard to stretch. I mean, a latex glove is very sturdy. And if you're not ready for that layer of compression and that level of tightness, then it's going to be painful. But what it does is obviously adds more compression, and not necessarily that you're going to put that garment on and literally lose 3 inches in your waist and then wake up the next day with those 3 inches gone. Unless you keep it on, it helps your body mold into that over time. So what I want to stress to you throughout this whole video is that the only thing that will give you results through this aftercare process is time. You cannot rush it. Your body is not going to listen to your mind. If you want it to move more quickly, it's just not going to. It's just something that you're going to have to accept, put up with, learn to embrace. It's time. Things I must earn. TIME is what it is. You got to do it. You got to get ready for it. And, so that's something that you're going to want to prep yourself for, is that you're going to, calculate. If you're going for surgery in December, 6 months later is June. That was what I did. I had surgery in December. I knew 3 months later was March. I was still in the middle of winter in New York. I knew I would still have quite a long way to go. If you look up my photos of my recovery process, you can see that I really didn't start to snatch in my waist until week 10, 11, 12, really week 14 to 17, to be honest. That's when I saw the biggest difference in muscle definition, less swelling, and by swelling I mean clearly you can see that it's like fluffy under your skin. So consistency is the key, and time is your enemy, but it's actually really your friend. Sorry sis. I hope that you learned something today. I hope that you are able to take away something from this video and more easily prep for your particular procedure. I will probably most likely, definitely maybe, make a video on, the different types of garments that you can get from Kuributo. And as always, you can head over to my Instagram page to see details on those. I will leave my Instagram name here if I have learned how to use a video editing app by the time I upload this.